In today's episode, I'll try to replicate a motorcycle studio shot normally executed with a proper camera and studio strobe light by using only a smartphone and some DIY materials together with some basic photography equipment. Hi there folks, and welcome to another episode on the Image Factory Studio channel. My name is Ivo and I'm London-based advertising photographer and retoucher. My intention today is to try to take the camera and lighting equipment variables out of the equation and demonstrate my work process by focusing on composition, lighting setup and some color theory. My 2 pennies on the topic is that depends on your photography segment and the project expectations of the result. Using specific equipment can play a significant role in your workflow and can help you to deliver the required result. Beyond that, it is questionable if the latest touch can significantly improve the value of your work or make you a more successful photographer. This 6 feet 40 watts LED ceiling light, which I bought from internet for about 28 British pounds. Looking at the brightness, I think this will be sufficient for our idea today. The main position of this light will be as usual on top of the bike, so we're going to mount this light on top of the bike and then we're going to park the bike underneath. That's a very primitive way of mounting a light, so hopefully no real photographer watching this video. I really hope no one with photography degree will watch this video because this is embarrassing. But actually Manfrotto needs to do something like that. Hey, Manfrotto, come on. I think Manfrotto need to patent these things. Pretty nifty, isn't it? A roll of tape is also very important in a photography studio. Paper tape, sellotape, magic tape, gaffer tape, gorilla tape. You can find all type of these. My choice to tackle this cable will be a paper tape because it doesn't leave any residue and it's so easy to use. So important tool. be our setup today. We need a paper roll of photography background or colorama. We need a couple of light stands with Manfrotto clamps, and unfortunately, because of the size and the reach of the width of this paper background, I'm using a scaffolding in order to suspend my light. So this is our basic setup. My approach today will be slightly different. I would like to push the bike as close as possible to the background because we're using only one single light today. I would like the background to benefit from this light and make it a bit more brighter and more fresh and green in order to complement the color of the bike. So let's move the bike about a meter back and then push the light back. This is exactly what I was looking for. As you can see, the light now cast on the background, which was my intention, and the bike is moved closer to the background. This will give us a bit better separation, bike from the background. Because this is a not dimmable light, the only way to control the light is either moving it further up or lower down, or moving it forwards and backwards. By doing this, we can control how the light spills on the shape of the bike. So let's see what's happening if we move the light forwards. I really don't want to push the light forwards too much because then our background will start suffer. So I need to find the sweet spot where this light shaping the bike nicely and at the same time casting enough light on the background. Let's start with our camera for today's shoot. This will be a 3-year-old Huawei P20 Pro smartphone. This smartphone is capable of recording or capturing 40 megapixel RAW format files with a DNG extension, which should be very good actually. It's also using a Leica glass, which I'm not entirely sure what this means, but we'll see. What's important is that I need to make this phone attached to a tripod. Somehow I need to make this phone static in order to make several different exposures of the bike and then stack them in Photoshop. Lucky for me, I have my quad lock attachment to the case, and my intention is to use the quad lock attachment in order to mount this phone to a tripod. This is actually a hybrid between mirror attachment, quad lock, male and female, and this is a GoPro clamp, or I'm not sure how they call these things, bracket maybe. Okay, so this will be my main tripod. It's a normal Manfrotto camera tripod, and with the help of this GoPro clamp or bracket, I'm going to mount the phone to the center column, like that. And this will give me stability and options to see the whole screen, and the phone will remain completely sturdy or fairly stable, which is very important. As I said, every time you're doing a composite and the camera moved during the process of photography, the retoucher will curse you, trust me. So do your homework and minimize as much as possible the movement of the camera between the different exposures for the same shot. So this is pretty much our setup for today, folks. I'm going very low on this one because, as you know, I like to use as low as possible, and this makes no exception today. I managed to mirror the screen on my phone on that laptop, and you see what actually the cell phone is seeing at the moment. One advice here: almost every single modern smartphone got extremely wide lens and capture enormous amount of space. It's good if you're a landscape or architectural photographer, but for my purposes, I need to be as close as possible to my object. And as I already said in one of my previous videos, using a wide angle in automotive or motorcycle photography most of the time is a no-no. So in my case, instead of moving the camera closer to the object in order to fit the frame, I am doing this. So I'm literally zooming in order to mimic more like a longer, in order to mimic longer focal length. I'm going to take the first shot. Pretty good results for a cell phone, I can say. I really hate using my cell phone camera. I mean, it's just not my forte. It's never been. But looking on the screen, you can say details are pretty good. So it's a good start. I have two options to control the exposure with this phone. One is the shutter speed, the other one is ISO. Unfortunately, aperture settings are not available with this phone, I don't know why. At least not in the professional or pro mode. So yeah, using the shutter speed and ISO give me full control over the exposures, which I'm going to do a lighter, normal and darker exposure. It's hard to say what's normal exposure on this one, but something that eyeballing looks pretty decent. Okay. Once I capture these three exposures, I'm going to move the light slightly forward in order to change the way how light shaping the bike. Looking at the bike, I will need the light slightly forward, slightly closer to me in order to get some of the fenders, mudguard areas, and some of the under the seat / engine compartment, because at the moment they're slightly underlit, so they need more light. I hope to do this whilst I move the light closer to the camera. Time for some filling, so we need to fill something on the front and rear wheel, because unfortunately the design, the way these mudguards are designed, they completely obscure the light. So I hope with the help of one of these whiteboards to return some light. I think this will work. Okay, so yes, this definitely giving us some more details. As you can see, the wheels looks well defined. You can see the rim, you can see the actual wheel. So later, eventually, in post-production, I will be able to push this even further, but to be honest, from what I'm seeing on the screen, I'm pretty happy with it. So, yeah, let's see the rear wheel. Yeah, this also looks really nice. You can see the rear wheel, you can see the parts of the engine, parts of the exhaust system, everything is, and we actually even have some light reflect on the name of the bike, of the Lambretta badge, which is really good. I think this actually wrapped up the first angle, the side profile. So now I'm going to position the bike 3/4, which is one of my favorite angles, and repeat the same process again. Okay, so now we reposition the bike in a 45 degrees angle. also, we need to reposition that light to follow the axis of the bike. So so that's our next angle. That's a really That's a really nice angle, by the way. I really like it. It's giving a very prominent, very nice look of this little fella. So just a few tweaks and we're ready to capture the next angle. Okay, so this is our angle, and I can see that this looks very interesting, very funny, in a nice way. I really like this angle. I probably will raise the camera slightly, ever so slightly up, because this angle is ever so slightly down. I mean, I like it, but I really like to explore slightly higher angles, so maybe something more like that. Composition here is everything, guys. You need to understand how to position your bike. And again, we have plenty of details with the help of the whiteboard. So we're using the whiteboard, and we have plenty of details under the mudguard, under the front mudguard, under the rear mudguard as well. So as we can see here, everything is where it's supposed to be. So this is pretty much everything. I would like to say a few words about my choice of color background for today. And this is closely related with the color theory and the color wheel. The color of the bike is, or supposed to be, a light mint green. Based on the color wheel, I have several different options, but I decide to go for the analog color scheme, which is giving me an option to choose two neighbor colors from the color of the actual photographed bike. You can use different color schemes and make your composition even better with the help of the color wheel. So spend some time on Google and search color wheel and color wheel schemes. Planning how the colors of your photograph subject interact with the colors of the surrounding elements in a controlled environment like a studio is homework that every photographer needs to do before the photo shoot. Alongside the composition, colors can impact greatly the way your visual work is accepted by the viewer while provoking desired emotional responses. You don't need to be an expert in color theory to use the schemes based on the color wheels. Interactive tools like the one on canva.com making the decision process easy to understand and control. I strongly recommend spending some time with the different color schemes and see how adding and controlling supplementary colors in your work can elevate the final result and help your photography style. The main takeaway from today's shoot is that the equipment involved in your process is not of paramount significance for the successful accomplishment of your assignment. But on some occasions, the final expectations and requirements might demand the usage of specific photography tools. That is the end of today's episode, folks. Hope you have enjoyed this topic. Thank you very much for your time, and as usual, thank you very much for tolerating my awful English. Take care and stay safe. See you next time. Main light. Anyway, one more time. My main light. Fucking. How you like my new cap, huh? You like it? My 2 pennies on the pennies. Pennies, not pennies. Pennies. Well, maybe I can try with cents. Okay, I'll try with cents. Okay, and one more time. Is this shit recording or what? Recording.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cheers. Some people mention that the sound is awful. That's a fucking studio. It's like echo or stuff. And that's not video light. That's photography light. It's just nonsense. Yeah. Still not making money of any of this shit. So we're using what we got after all. Okay. What's it? Sorry? No, not today. Not today. It's upstairs. Okay. Okay.